with anyone. I could be with anyone. You're here with me. You're here with me. You could be around with me. You could be with anyone. I could be with anyone. You're here with me. You're here with me.
Let's get it. Just a real quick thing. I said I was going to do some true crime stuff, and recently the whole Puff Daddy situation exploded. It's insane. There's a whole bunch of stuff. I'm sure I'm going to have to get into it as the case starts to develop and as more details start to come out. There's been civil suits. There's been accusations. The FBI raided my man's house, and I just want to say off rip as a little bit of a teaser. First things first. We've been hearing rumors about how P. Diddler gets down. Like he was Puff Daddy, then he was P. Diddy. He's the P. Diddler now. We know how P. Diddler, Sean Puffy Combs get down. We've been hearing this for years. 50 Cent had something to say. There was rappers who would talk about all the time, yeah, if you over at Puff Daddy house and there's a party, make sure you leave before 1 o'clock. Be out. Don't drink a whole lot of stuff. If you start feeling woozy, funny, shaky, janky, whatever the case may be, make sure you get up off your socks and head for the door. Because as stuff goes on with it, when that 1 o'clock bell strikes, the witching hour hit, stuff go down. We've been hearing that for years. We've been hearing that he's been forcing himself on people and all that. Now, recently, this morning, you had the FBI hit his house. Now, when the FBI hit your house, the truth of the matter is, no matter what people say or what your feeling is of the FBI, because of whatever political stance you take or whatever business you got going on in your personal life, let me tell you something now. When the feds get involved, when the FBI gets involved, the FBI as an organization is the world's premier law enforcement organization. Let me say that one more again. The FBI is the whole world's premier law enforcement organization. They don't play. And the FBI, the DOJ, is not going to serve a search warrant of any kind, especially on two separate locations, for a well-known person, a person of means, a person who has a platform. They're not going to serve that willy-nilly. A judge is not just going to sign off on that because that's what's required. If you go down and you have if police come forward and they say, I want to search that house, they have to have probable cause and they have to prove that probable cause or demonstrate that probable cause to a judge who then takes that probable cause in, assesses it and says, you know what? It looks like you have probable cause that there's a crime that may have been committed, and I'm going to sign off on it. The judge signs off on it, gives it back to the FBI. Now, they say that the FBI, they showed up, they raided both of his houses at the same time. They showed up in full flak jacks with the guns, with the jammies popping, the whole nine. They put all the kids in cuffs. Everybody was get laid down and put down. That's the way the FBI do it. And there's a reason why the FBI does it that way. First off, when the FBI comes to your house and they knock on the door, especially if you're Sean Puffy P. Diddler Combs, when a person who has a criminal past and a violent history, they will come in hard. They will bust the doors in. They will get everybody down. They will secure everybody to make sure that everything is everything. Now, the reason why they say they do that is for two reasons. They want to make sure that they are safe and they're protected and they don't have to worry about somebody coming at them sideways and putting them in jeopardy. And they also want to make sure that the other people are safe. Because if you're handcuffed and you're put aside, you're put in a room or whatever the case may be, and you're cuffed and you're in custody, then or being detained. Technically, you're not in custody. You're being detained. If they're doing that, then it's not a situation where they're necessarily worried about you, and it doesn't run the risk that something may happen that may spark a tragedy. So that's why they do that. That's why they did that to him and his kids. Now, as far as hitting the two locations at the same time, why would they do that? They hit them two locations at the same time because they were looking for stuff. And here's the secret. The DOJ don't go hunting. They have a 95% conviction rate. The feds just don't show up to your place on a guess. They notice something is there. They have a pretty good idea that you have evidence there of a crime, and they want to make sure they hit both places at the same time because they want to make sure that you don't get rid of any of that evidence. So they show up, they hit hard, they hit at the same time, and they get what they're going to get. And now P. Diddy is upset. Now I will say this in closing, the last thing that I'm going to start looking into, or one of the things that I'm going to be looking into, is the relationships between the people that he's been in relationships with. Why? Because this starts to beg the question, who know what when? All these stars that used to be associated with P. Diddy, around P. Diddy, they all need to get looked at sideways. Because after all, this has been good. This isn't something that just started. This isn't, the things that he's been accused of is not a one-off thing. These are things that most likely he has a long, strong history of doing. And allegedly. I gotta cover myself because I'm not trying to get in no trouble. I ain't trying to have nobody knocking my doors down. But that's where we are. So we're gonna look at everything. And it begs the question too, who knew what when? And then there's also the thing too, where, I understand people being silent and trying to protect themselves and maybe even having shame or embarrassment or trying to cover things up or not wanting trouble. But the truth of the matter is, in silence, you create further victimology. You create further victims. So we're going to look at all that. And this is just breaking news. So we're going to get into it as it unfurls and develops. I'm kind of looking forward to it. So if you guys want to get that, come on back. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. That's my take. I'm James. This has been My Take on Reality, and I'm out.
'Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side.